So recently I've been trying to decide between the Ford Ranger and the Nissan Frontier. I also looked at the Jeep Wrangler 4xe. Even though it's not a pickup truck, it is a utility vehicle, four-wheel drive, and it would be really fuel efficient. So that was actually my first choice, was a Wrangler 4xe. Unfortunately, I tried to work with a few dealers on those, and because of the way that the market is right now, the leasing deals that we used to always see on the Wrangler are pretty much gone. I mean, a couple of years ago, you could lease a brand new Wrangler for $350, $400 a month. In some cases less, depending on the trim. They hold their value so well, and there's usually incentivized leases out there for them, but right now that's not the case. And so we were ending up way out of my budget, and that wasn't going to happen. So I thought, well, you know, that's okay. I kind of really need a pickup truck anyway. The Jeep Gladiator, I've had a couple of those, and I like the Jeep Gladiator a lot, but again, those are very expensive trucks. If you get one optioned, kind of like this Frontier is optioned, you're talking beyond $50,000 on a Gladiator, which is just nuts. So I didn't want to do that again. I looked at the Toyota Tacoma. I think I've already mentioned I hate it. I have no idea how the Toyota Tacoma is the #1 selling midsize truck, because objectively, it's the worst truck in the class. It's ugly. The interior is terrible. There's no space in it. The engine is anemic. The transmission feels 20 years old. It's got drum brakes on the rear. I mean, it's just a miserable truck. I don't know how Toyota sells so many of those. So I marked it off the list right off the bat. So that kind of left my choices with Nissan or Ford, since I won't touch a GM product with a 10-foot pole normally. We'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, long story short, I went to look at the Ranger and the Frontier, and I ended up going with the Frontier. And the main reason why is because the sticker prices were identical on the two trucks. I mean, within like a couple $100. I mean, identical sticker prices. But the Nissan Frontier, equipped as you see it here, SV, convenience package, tech package, this truck is completely loaded up with really cool options for the same money. It has a 310 horsepower V6 engine, which is a little bit less complicated than the EcoBoost. I've read quite a few not so good threads on the forums about the EcoBoost engines. This is kind of a brand new engine. It's been out a couple years, 3.8 V6, but you know, by their very nature, V6 engines are a little less complicated. So I'm figuring that, you know, with Nissan's track history of great V6 engines, this one should be no different. So I have better faith in this engine. It still has a 9-speed auto transmission, which honestly shifts better than Ford's 10-speed, in my opinion, after test driving both of them extensively. I think the Nissan Jatco 9-speed actually shifts better than Ford's 10R80. So anyway, it's got a great drive line, great features. The color is beautiful. This is the deep blue pearl, which also kind of swayed my opinion. The payload capacity on this is rated at 1,160 pounds, which is very comparable to most of the Jeep Gladiators that you'll see out on the road, and the Chevy Colorados and so forth and so on. The Ford Ranger does have more payload capacity on the sticker, but the reason for that is simply because the Ford Ranger has a lighter curb weight. Some of the parts and pieces on the Ranger are made out of aluminum, and they really shaved a lot of weight out of that truck. And the lower curb weight, you know, you do the math on that with the GVWR, and it gives you a higher payload rating. It doesn't necessarily mean, though, that the Ranger can do more work in the real world. So I'm not concerned at all about the payload on this truck. It'll be just fine for me and for what I need to do. Towing capacity is probably somewhere around, I have to look it up specifically for this trim, the way it's optioned out, but somewhere around 6,500 pounds. I think the other day I mentioned the 7,000 number. Trimmed out like this, it's closer to 6,500 pounds, but that's still plenty to do what I need to do. You know, I can pull an enclosed trailer, loaded down with ATVs and camping gear, no problem. In the future, a camper maybe, won't be a problem at all. So this truck will get everything done that I need to do. It's optioned super nice, and it gets great fuel economy. So far, it's showing 24 miles per gallon on the dash, but the dash is known to be a little bit optimistic, so give me some time on that, and I'll do some hand calculations and see where this thing is actually going to end up. But this truck worked out great for me. I was able to do a 2-year lease, which is awesome. The Silverado EV, Chevy Silverado EV, which by the way is kind of interesting because like I just said, normally I won't touch a GM product with a 10-foot pole. But in this case, the Silverado EV is a completely new vehicle that they have had to basically design from the ground up. There's not a shared part on that vehicle with anything they've been making. And so I think that there's a better chance that with the stakes being so high with these electric trucks, they're going to take a lot of careful attention and put toward the Silverado EV. And I'll bet you that the Silverado EV ends up being one of the more dependable GM products out there. So I'm willing to give that one a shot. But it's going to be 2 years at least before I can actually get one of those on the ground. They're not going to production until this coming winter, and then who knows how long it'll be after that before you know, guys like me who are on the reservation list can actually get one. So I'm looking at least 2 years. This will work out great. 2-year lease. When I get to the end of this, I'll be ready to do something with the Silverado electric truck, which I can't wait to do because I want to do some hauling and towing and real world truck use with an electric truck and, you know, kind of see how it works out. But in the short term, this is going to be really awesome. So I've already got 400 pounds worth of wheels and tires in the back that I need to haul tomorrow. Going to put it to work right off the bat. Got the utility trailer over there that I'm going to be using here in a couple of days to go do some mowing jobs. And so, yeah, we'll see how this Nissan Frontier stacks up. You know, the previous generation, which was on the market forever, I had one of those. It was a 2013 crew cab Frontier 4-wheel drive, the 4-liter V6. It was a great engine, but it just wasn't very fuel efficient. I feel like they've worked on that a little bit with this one. But it'll be interesting to see, you know, how does this truck stack up to the F-150s and Ram 1500s and Jeep Gladiators and Toyota Tundras of the world. You know, those are the trucks that I've worked with most recently. So we'll see how the Nissan Frontier stacks up when you put it to work and start doing some jobs with it. It'll be really interesting. It needs a little bit of a lift, doesn't it? And maybe some mud terrains. I don't know if we want to go mud terrains because the point of this is to save some gas money. So we don't want to go full-blown mud terrain on this truck. It probably won't see any rock crawling anyway. Might just stick with an all-terrain. So yeah, I think that these Frontiers are actually the best value in the mid-size truck market right now. I mean, I think they hit a home run with this styling. This deep blue pearl color is beautiful, but I really like the front end. You notice you do still have tow hooks down there, so it's still very functional. The approach angle seems to have been improved. A lot of guys take off these air dams right here, and then they say you can run a pretty decently sized tire also if you want to, which I won't do right off the bat because again, that eats into the fuel economy savings. But when these things get down a little bit worn, they're going to get replaced with some nice tires. Hey, I like the front end though. Styling is really good. I like the way they sculpted the truck. It still looks like a Nissan Frontier, but it does also look updated, and that's really nice. So I noticed that, you know, some things that this truck has that the Ford Ranger didn't have. You got a damped tailgate there, which is actually pretty nice. This is one of those things that once you have a dampened tailgate and you get used to it, the next time you open the tailgate on a truck that doesn't have one, you'll always drop it because your brain just gets used to being able to flip that lever and or pull the handle and just let it go. You know, you get trained to that. So you walk up to a truck that doesn't have this and pull the handle and then bam. So, but you can't see it because of the tires. There's an outlet down there. There's LED lighting in the bed. I talked about some of this stuff the other day. The Ranger just didn't have that. You got the Utilitrack system, which is sometimes very handy. You can move the cleats around where you need them, but you can also put a lot of accessories in there too. Nissan's got a whole book full of accessories. There's even a handle that you can mount right here so that you can grab onto it and help yourself get up in the bed of the truck, which is really nice. So that was cool. Sliding rear window. You can get that on the Ranger, I think if you go to the Lariat model, but the XLTs didn't have it. You know, this is a equivalent to an XLT, being an SV sliding rear window. So that's nice. You got a shark fin antenna. Ford Ranger has an actual stick style, rubber ducky style antenna sticking up there. proximity entry. You just press the button to lock and unlock. I don't have the keys on me right now, but that's pretty handy too. Something else the Ranger doesn't have, although on the Lariat, you can get that keypad on the other door over there. So again, just a lot of features that the Frontier has that the Ranger doesn't. And of course, like we talked about the other day, on the inside of the truck, you've got things like push button start, heated seats, heated steering wheel. It's got intelligent cruise control and blind spot monitoring and lane keeping assist. And I mean, I could go on all day. It's got a ton of features, safety features and convenience features that are included in this convenience package, which is a heck of a deal. And on the Ranger, I found that you can get some of those things, like the heated seats and, you know, the fancy cruise control, the intelligent cruise control. You can get some of those things on the Ranger, but you have to go on up to the Lariat package. And in some cases, you have to add I think they called it the 502A package to the Lariat. So then you're talking $45,000 or above. And at that point, you're getting really close to an F-150. So the value's just not there. I like the Ranger. I don't dislike the Ranger. I like it. And the rear seats are a little bit more comfortable. But for the money, you just can't beat the Nissan. I mean, that's just all there is to it. So if you guys want to see the new 22 Frontier put to work out here on the farm, hauling and towing and doing truck kind of things, stay tuned to the channel. You'll see some more of this truck, at least for another year or two anyway. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.